March Madness. Let's start with San Diego State. Item 1, statement game in the big victory over Utah State. Red flag warning, the loss in the championship game to New Mexico. We had the good, the bad, and we had the ugly. That was an amazing 17-point come-from-behind win over Utah State in the semifinals. They were dominant. Jaedon LeDee took over the game in the second half. He fouled out virtually all of the Aggies' big men. The guards played really, really well. San Diego State had a horrific start, rallied back, and won. Then they got to the championship game, and they went 14 down to New Mexico, ran uphill virtually the whole night, finally tied it, had the short lead. The game got away from them. You know, it was interesting in the Utah State game. I'm always big on payback. Here's Jaedon LeDee, snubbed by the coaches, not named Player of the Year on the Mountain West Conference. So he showed them the credentials. What he did against Utah State with all those coaches sitting in the stands looking, he should have been Player of the Year, I think, in the Mountain West Conference tournament. He carried the Aztecs to the win. But then it was followed by an awful, disappointing loss in New Mexico. The same old traits showed up, John. LeDee had no shots in the first 10 minutes. He had no baskets in the first 16 minutes. And the guards who had played so well the night before played really poorly. Butler, Trammell, Waters went 6 for 25. They wound up going 3 for 12 on threes. And I said all along, if they're going to win this thing, the guards have to produce to take the pressure off the big guy. Big guy finally got it in gear. In the second half of both those games, the guards did not get it in gear against New Mexico. Aztecs have now lost 3 of their last 5 games. It's just not the same basketball team. And of course, you got now 8 losses this season within the conference against the best the league has to offer. First round, NCAA tournament. They're going to play Alabama, Birmingham, UAB. End of the day, this domino fell in the favor of San Diego State. They're playing in Spokane, where they're very familiar with the court. Mm-hmm. Fans can get there and support. It's not a big-time travel thing. It's not at altitude, which is huge. And the guys coming to play them are going to travel 2,000 to 2,500 miles to get there and experience the Pacific Northwest. So this thing has worked out really well for San Diego State. Alabama Birmingham is not athletically equal to what the Aztecs are. They're not as experienced as the Aztecs are. And the fact that this is going to be a long 2,000-mile road haul for the Blazers, I think San Diego State gets through the first game. But that being said, then they're going to have to play Auburn in the second game, and that won't be easy because Auburn's got athletes, Auburn's got transfers, Auburn's got a passion play of a coach in Bruce Finch. So Aztecs get in the tournament, got a pretty decent seeding, and they're here. They're not going 2,000 miles east to go play in Orlando, what they did last season. So you sat there. I heard you screeching in the first half. I heard you cheering in the second half. Observation, San Diego State, good, bad, ugly.
It was a great environment, by the way. You go to Vegas and the fans are there. Everyone's wearing their gear. And there are like 5 or 6 groups of fans, you know, Wyoming fans and Boise fans are all there watching all the games. It's really cool. But LeDee is just a specimen. I mean, that guy, he is just can be so dominant, and he's even hitting 3-point shots. I mean, it's just incredible. But to your point, you're right, man. When Waters goes dry and when Trammell can't hit the shots and when Micah Parrish goes 0 for 8 or whatever he's been on some of these games, the Aztec offense looks really bad. I mean, it just really struggles. So it's definitely a hot or cold thing. But, you know, New Mexico, man, those guys are good. We always knew they had a lot of headroom. They could explode on you at any time. And I swear to God, Jalen House, that guy, where does he get all this energy from? It's unbelievable how he's everywhere all at once on the court and the way he loves playing the villain. And it's just an amazing athlete and an amazing team. Wow. What a tournament.
Yeah. He hits 3-point shots, points to his bench, and then runs down the floor, points at Aztec fan.
Yes.
Just amazing player. And the energy level is beyond what you would normally expect. The motor never turns off. The mouth never shuts up either. Why with all the experience the Aztecs have in the backcourt, are they so erratic. I can understand LeDee having these stretches where no shots in 10 minutes because they're doubling them all the time. I can understand going 16 minutes without a basket just because of the defenses he faces, and he gets belted every time he's got the ball either up high or down on the block. But why is there no consistency from third and fourth year guards in the athletic program? That to me is the biggest disappointment - detriment.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, we've seen Micah Parrish and Darrion Trammell get red hot. I mean, Reece Waters came here as a shooter. He seems to kind of drifted away. He fell out of the starting lineup, and sometimes he'll disappear in games. So I don't know what it is. I mean, even Lamont Bulter's shot sometimes seems off, and it seems like the 3-pointers, the opposite team is so easily strokes them, and our guys seem to struggle. They rattle in, they rattle out. I don't get it.
Is the stage now for the young guys, the young forwards, the bad boys, as I call them?
Mm-hmm.
Might this stage in the tournament be a little too big for them because we haven't seen the productivity that we had seen through the first 2/3 of the season and crunch time at the end of the season from the big boys?
I know. I think the stage is going to be fine. For them, it's okay. The other Mountain West teams I worry about, but for the Aztecs, what they went through last year, they're going to be fine in terms of their nerves and the stage environment. But they're like you say, their guards have got to hit shots, and boy, it can be frustrating when they go on those cold streaks like they did at the very end of that New Mexico game. So I'm concerned, but I like that seed. A 5 is not bad when they didn't ship you out east. I mean, that seems to happen every time when the Aztecs get in. So all things considered, I think they got a pretty good draw, and it all sets up nicely, if it all goes according to plan, to have a rematch of the national championship game from last year.
In their bracket?
Yeah.
In their bracket. Now we're reaching here, and I don't want to hurt my shoulder again, but they beat Alabama Birmingham. They get Auburn. If they somehow can beat Auburn, who's experiencing all the stuff in the Northwest for the first time, they could wind up playing UConn.
Yeah.
In that bracket, but that's a lot to happen. So we'll see. Aztec fans, we have anybody that roots for San Diego State, wants to join us Fans Forum? Give us an opinion. What disappoints you the most? What surprises you the most? Join us in Fans Forum right now. Jump into the chat box and make a statement. I mean, we are now almost 35 games into a basketball season, and they are still hot and cold, Jekyll and Hyde, good and bad. In fact, I don't think they are right now what they were early in the season.
Well, it's every year I said Padres. Every year the Aztecs seem to get better as the season goes on.
Hasn't happened this year.
But not this season. Yeah, it's been this like weird February and March. So hopefully they can turn on a light switch here for the big dance, but that's a lot to ask.
Okay, so we go from Aztec basketball